Hey, you! You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed because you're an untouchable success. To support us and gain access to great exclusive shows like our brand new Supernatural watch-along Himboos, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. You'll also get your lucky little mitts on hundreds of episodes of our other exclusive shows like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, Spiel Boys, and the complete series of Fox Mulder is a Maniac. We do movie nights, game streaming, regular mini-series and surprise shows, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want, within reason. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain by heading to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed. Probably don't need help with that word.
What do you think he tastes like?
Mando?
Yeah.
The big
If
slugs?
you eat his flesh.
Oh, if I were to eat Mando's flesh.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Probably like gas station meat.
Yeah.
Like he's been in that tin can for a while. He's a tin can within a tin can. He lives in a tin can, and then he rides around in a larger tin can through space.
He's a stinky man.
He's a very smelly man.
It's a stinky world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when they get to Nal Hutta. That looks just like the smelliest planet.
Yes. God, yeah. Oh, God.
The island
hi,
of
everybody.
misfit farts.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman.
And we just watched Star Wars, The Mandalorian versus Grogu.
You remember Star Wars?
Hey, never touch the buttons.
The chessboard. They did the chessboard.
They did do the chess. They did a couple of ones. They bullseyed a Womp Rat and a T-16.
Oh, fuck, they did.
They sure fucking did.
All right. Sorry, I did that one. That one really bums me out.
That was a real, you really...
The chessboard, honestly, where I was watching the arena fight and then that moment where they kind of pull out and I went like, oh, come on, guys.
yeah, okay.
All
and then
right.
they had the little
Jesus Christ.
Babu freaks blast a
Yeah.
Womp Rat in their T-16.
Yeah.
They shoot it for no reason. It's not involved in the fight. They just shoot it.
I
They're
know,
like,
they just...
see that? Blast it.
There were a couple moments in this movie I like where I did the and that was one, and now I know why.
Yep.
Where I went from I just did that puzzled look, I was in the theater and I just went the fuck, and that was a moment where because they're showing this creature and then they just blast it and the
just gets
movie moves on,
blasted.
and I was just like, what the fuck?
Why did we focus on this weird rat?
Why are we mad at that rat? I was like, what?
Out of nowhere, a rat we've
fuck?
never seen before in the movie. It's just in center frame. We are focused on this rat. Gets blasted.
And if you don't get the reference, that was what happened. I was just like, that was weird and
It's
jarring.
a layered reference. You had to...
Yeah.
I had to boot something up in there.
Right. It never registered. Again, I only had the one with the arena where I was like, oh, okay.
I feel like there
see.
was one or two others that I clocked, but those were the two big ones.
This is the first Star Wars in 10 years.
115 years? Yeah, at
Yeah.
least. No, since 2019's Rise of Skywalker, I believe.
Okay. It is...
So 7 years. That's a while.
Yeah. It's based off, the TV show, The Mandalorian.
The television.
It's Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
It's,
Jon Favreau directed. He also has a co-writing credit.
Yeah, there's three writers. And I have a theory. What did you think of this movie?
I thought this movie... I mostly enjoyed my time watching this movie. My biggest criticism... Because this has a lot of what I like about... a lot of what I want to see in Star Wars. A lot of what I like about Mando. My biggest criticism is that it's unevenly paced because it is very, very plainly 3 episodes stitched together.
Okay, I wrote down 6 episodes. I could go through each one.
Sure.
My overall thought is this was good.
Yeah.
Not great. It was good. It kept losing me and then kept getting me back, right? So it was it wasn't like this overall thing. It was literally while watching it, I'd go God, I'm bored.
It's peaks
and
and
I
valleys.
go,
yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah.
And then I go, God, I'm bored. It's almost like a series of of episodes written by multiple people that they said, we can't make this season, let's just turn it into a movie. And
or
I'm
rather,
almost certain
yeah,
that's
if
what
we're going to
happened.
spend this money on a season of television, let's put it in theaters and try to make some of it back.
I'm almost certain it's
Yeah,
gotta
you can
be that.
you can see it. Like you can see it. You feel it even if you don't like notice the seams, like somebody like you, Dave, who's like a really into screenwriting and stuff. But like you just feel that the pace of it is weird.
Yes,
It's
there's
very
no-
a lot of peaks and valleys.
Yeah, there's no traditional pacing
It's
or
not like
structure.
there's not an organic flow to it.
It's a
yeah.
series of episodes that it, like, and I find that very bold and weird that they did that, because it you can feel it. And like I saw the reviews that were like, this is just 3 or 4 episodes of The Mandalorian. I thought they meant like, oh, it's just unoffending and like, you know, like it's fun, but it doesn't. And then watching, you're like, oh no, this is literally.
No, they mean it's like when they put out the Family Guy movie, Stewie Griffin, The Untold Story.
Yeah.
Oh, this is just 3 episodes with kind of a through line connecting all 3.
You can feel where, because, you know, if you remember, the Mandalorian doesn't have any set time on how long the episodes last. Some are 30 minutes, some are, 45, some are an hour, which was a cool thing for the Mandalorian to do, that show. Did you watch all the show?
I saw the first 2 seasons. I didn't see the Book of Bubba.
Yeah. The Mandalorian, they really dropped the ball. We've talked about it. Where
We've done this.
I watched the first 2 seasons, and then I started season 3, and I had no idea what was going on, and I had to read online that you have to watch this other show.
You have to watch Boba Fett, yeah.
And it was like, well, I didn't do that, and I was excited for the 3rd season of the show I was watching. So I guess it was that feeling of like,
for me, it's just I fell off of all the Marvel shows. I fell off the Star Wars shows. Like I haven't seen Andor. I haven't seen even the ones that people really like. I still haven't got to. So I'm just I'm just way behind on TV, especially now as a parent, because it's so much of a time investment.
Yeah.
But I
that's
did like
the thing,
Mando.
Is that like, I think at our age we fall off a lot. I fall off a lot, and so when you get shoved like that, you're like, well, like, it's that feeling of like, I wasn't like I guess mad at the show, but it was like the moment I realized it was inaccessible, and it was like, I was like watching on a plane or something, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, I downloaded the 3rd season. I didn't download Book of Boba Fett.
Right.
And I guess I can't watch your show anymore.
It's realizing that you have to do 4 more hours of watching before you can watch. It's like, oh.
It was like, what a weird...
pushes it further to the back burner.
Right, just call it season 3. You know, like call Book of Boba Fett season 3 then.
Yeah.
This movie, I feel like they learned their lesson in the sense that they're like...
Oh, yeah, they just real quick. Here's Mando, here's what he's doing, boom.
I would argue that if you don't know anything about this, why would you go see it? Like, it's a silly scenario, but as a movie on its own, there's very little character arc, and there's very little to glom onto if you're not already with it.
This is not a Star Wars movie as much as this is the Mandalorian movie. Like this is a movie based on the TV show The Mandalorian. So like you wouldn't go to you wouldn't go to see the Sopranos movie, The Many Saints in Newark, having not seen any episodes of the Sopranos
movie,
or the X-Files. Yeah, you might be a little lost there in that it deals with stuff directly from the show. So it's like we've had movies like this before. It's not new. It's just it's an unusual thing to put on top of. This is the first Star Wars movie in 7 years, but on top of that, it's directly a continuation of a TV show. Not so much that you can't follow it with once you read the 2 little paragraphs they throw up on screen when the movie starts. But yeah, like you do point out, there are no character arcs.
No, and
it's just here's Mando running a couple of errands.
I feel like I haven't watched the show in a while, but I feel like one of the things they knew to do in the show was to have people with faces that you could see also in the show, and giving them, because like watching this, a lot of it, like we just this is actually coming out after we record this, but we covered the Ewok adventure or whatever.
We did, yeah.
I found when this wasn't working, it had the similar problem where I was like, I can't see anybody's faces. No one has arcs. Everybody's either CGI or wearing a helmet. and I just couldn't connect with a lot of the moments when it wasn't working. At least, it was like this disconnect, this like kind of lack of passion, or like, you know, like almost like a lack of charm. When it was working, but I was like, I don't think Little Yoda is enough for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does.
Yeah.
Because I know what you're talking about. Because I thought about the Ewok movie as well during the stretches of this movie where like Mando's down and out. This happens to Pedro a lot. He's ill, and then his little charge has to then care for him. It's the first season of Last of Us all over again. But so we spend, it's like I feel like a 10 or 15 minute stretch where it's just little baby Yoda caring for him and getting in a little bitty hijinks, and then meeting like a little lizard man who's a fisherman and imparts some wisdom upon him. And all that stuff worked totally fine on me, but like that felt,
it wasn't bad.
Like A, it felt glaringly like an episode. B, was thinking about the Ewok movie because there's a lot of stretches where it's just the baby Yoda puppet kind of interacting with the environment and not really anything's happening for several minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, boy, I thought about the Ewoks and I'm like, I'm glad that Yoda is working on me. Little Grogu works on me. Because they make him just like a baby. So now that I have a little baby, all that I'm thinking of is my own baby when I'm looking at baby Yoda. So it's like, fuck you movie, but it works.
Yeah, I mean,
so
what
yeah,
I found,
I recognize that this is probably, it's kind of the same thing, but this version is working on me, whereas the Ewok movie just really felt meandering.
that's the thing. Baby Yoda worked on me in the show at first, but at a certain point, like I actually could hear it in my audience. And what I mean is, like the first couple sequences, every time Baby Yoda did anything, everybody would go, "Ah," or like giggle, and then by the end, it was like, "All right, we get it." Like it felt like that, where it was like the audience got slowly more silent for every Grogu scene, because eventually it was like, "No, we get it."
Each little Grogu adventure.
Yeah. Yeah, here's okay. I want these are the 6 episodes I identified, and I'm speculating.
Sure.
I guess the beginning like adventure they do, the teaser, I got nothing out of that.
When he knocks out the 3 walkers.
Yeah, I got
fine.
nothing out of that.
It was a cool little sequence.
Yeah, but I identified that, like meeting the Hutts. And then when the first time the movie I went, ooh, was of course Cyberpunk City. And they're like, we're Blade Runner now. Here's some Blade Runner music. And I'm like, all right.
I'm like, I saw this with my brother and we both like sat up. We're like, this is like this is kind of, and that's what I was talking about. This movie has a lot of like kind of the things that you and I are always talking about. Let's see like some of these areas of Star Wars.
Right.
And this is the kind of stuff, this is what we like about Mando. Yeah.
I was like, let's never leave this city for the movie. I was just like, this is great.
Yeah. For a second, I thought we weren't going to, because we do spend a lot of time there. A decent amount of time. But for a minute, I got like really excited. I was like, are we going to spend the whole movie in this like city, in like this weird Coruscant type city? That would be rad.
So the first time the movie, so it takes like 20 minutes, but once that happened, I was like, oh, okay, I'm having fun now. And I would say like episode 1 would probably be, I would say they'd probably, all right, I'm imagining 6 episode season, and I'm like, I could see them saying, let's make this a long one, including arena fight number 1 in this episode, or you do the cliffhanger is like he wakes up to the arena fight. Right?
Oh, yeah,
you
maybe.
do one or the other. And then episode 2 would be, we got to go get General Korn and get him.
What was his name? Kane? Crane? Was it Korn? It wasn't Korn.
It's like Korn.
It was close to Korn. It was Korn adjacent. Maze.
It was Coin?
Coin.
See, that... I don't know.
Sure.
And
anyway.
We also meet Martin Scorsese.
We do. Making a sandwich that looked delicious. I wanted that sandwich.
Yeah.
His little bean loaf.
Yeah, it was great. So I thought like episode 1 could have been a longer episode with like the Cyberpunk City and arena fight number 1. And then episode 2 would be like, we're going to get General Korn all the way to Mando getting kidnapped, right? As you do the cliffhanger of like, he's been kidnapped by that other guy.
By the other bounty hunter?
Yeah. And then I thought
dog.
episode...
He has a cool hat and a dog.
Yeah, he does. I like him. He's
Yeah,
fine.
It was fine.
I thought, and this is just by memory, episode 3 would be like arena fight number 2 to being poisoned in the woods.
Yeah, for sure.
He's been poisoned.
And then 4 is Grogu by himself.
I think you do a whole episode, right?
You
you do.
Because that was it seriously was like a 10 to 20 minute chunk of where it's him by himself, Nurse and Mando, and he's got like those scenes with the lizard guy who's the fisherman, and then the
Right.
bounty hunter shows up with the dog, and then that's a scene. Like,
Right.
it's not a stretch where it's just Yoda by himself, but at that one, like I said a few minutes ago, that really felt like, okay, this is like an episode that they...
Yeah.
And I would...
And it'd be fun.
Yeah, it'd be a fun episode. Like, oh, you remember that one episode where it was just little baby Yoda? Building
just
huts, building huts for Mando's head.
Oh, I guess I only wrote down 5 episodes because then episode 5 would be everything else.
The
right?
rescue, yeah.
Yeah, and it's I could see you taking those 5 beats and stretching it into an 8 season or an 8 episode season because they're like 8 episodes Mandalorian, or they're doing that thing where they're like, bad news, we can only do 6 episodes this season or something.
Yeah.
But you can see those 5 beats. You could add one more episode in there.
Yeah, you could even almost split like the introductory action sequence where he grabs the first Imperial warlord and then comes back and reports to Sigourney Weaver and gets the job.
Yeah.
And goes
goes
to the city and then finds out that not only is Rod of the Hutt not really in any danger, but he's actually like a really famous prize fighter, and he has a fight the next night.
Who just talks like some guy.
He just
threw me off every time he spoke.
I know. It's such a like... it's not a terrible performance, but it's such just a... It's the bear. It's Jeremy Allen White from The Bear.
Yeah.
It's so just real monotone almost. It's like very not a lot of inflection.
The moment he started talking, it felt like the joke in, like, it's not really a joke, but in Futurama they go and like they fight that ogre giant, and it's Patton Oswalt, I believe, and he's just talking regular. It's like a gag in things where it's like you have a monster and then the monster is like, "What's up?" And it was that where like the moment we started talking, I was like, so we're going with that.
It's close to the Moth Monster Man and Aqua Teen having H. John Benjamin's voice.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, he's just some guy.
Yeah, he just kind of sounds like some guy.
And like, yeah, and so like you have these pieces, and I want to note also that there's no like real build up, or there's no like, it doesn't all come together. Like I was glomming onto ideas where I was like, oh, I bet Sigourney Weaver's evil, and it's like not really. We're not going to do anything that tricky. It's like, oh, we're going to go to these huts. And they go to the huts and they're like, the huts are bad. And then sure enough, the huts end up being bad.
Yeah.
And like to the point where like when he doesn't save or when he doesn't deliver, Jabba's son of Jabba, Rata, Sigourney
Jabba
Weaver's
Jr.
like, watch out, the huts they're gonna be mad. And then like the next scene is like, there they are, mad. And it was like, oh, okay, so we're just doing the thing. Like it's just so straightforward.
Yeah.
And it's a series of kind of fetch quests. Like as opposed to a building story.
It is. We're just following Mando on a series of errands.
Yeah. Because
it feels episodic.
Right. There's this overall idea of like, okay, so the story is that he goes to find this slug, and then he makes friends with him, and then the slug's family goes after him. And I get like that. Yeah, I guess that is a plot, like a overarching plot, but it's just every little bit feels like it doesn't really move to the next. Like the general core of it all, where you're like, well, he didn't need to really be involved in this because he just sort of catches them in this sequence, and then we're done with him.
Right. Yeah. It's very much that's the A story of this episode, and then the B story is moving the seasonal plot line forward. It just like we've been saying, it just feels disjointed.
It does.
And kind of every criticism I have of it kind of all ties back to that.
To a feeling. I had a couple. Okay, before we get to what's good, because there is good stuff.
Yeah, there's stuff I like.
because, like I said, it kept losing me and bringing me back. I will say I did not like the ending, because I was like, oh, why do we have to make this a fucking Star Wars all of a sudden? It felt, it's weird to say, like, it felt like we were, like, it felt like the Rebels, or what are they called now? I don't know.
I forget.
Basically, we're at a stage
New Republic,
where
I think.
Yeah, we're finding all the old Nazis, right? We're finding all the old Nazis.
We're dragging them all out of South America.
Yeah, and that's fine. And like that's a cool idea, but like there's this feeling of like the Mandalorian himself is like an underdog, right? And that helps for, it's fun to follow an underdog. And then at the end they're at the Swamp Palace, and he's just like calling the bombers, and they just blow everything up. Mm-hmm. And they come in like, woo, yeah. And I was like, this feels so like phoned in as an ending, where it was like everybody just sort of, and that's when they blow up the fucking rat, and it was like that, like this little innocent creature getting blown up by this bigger thing. I was like, yeah, and you guys are the good guys? Like the good guys come in and just blow up the swamp and go like, yeah, let's go. And it's just like that feeling of like, why weren't they involved the whole time? Like, it's suddenly like, okay, the Mandalorian isn't like fighting against this larger thing. He is the larger thing. Just like, let's just nuke it from orbit.
Yeah,
and it's like, it felt like weird, it felt like they wanted it. They're like, well, it can't be Star Wars without them like pew-pewing.
Yeah, we got to have an X-Wing. We got to put Sigourney in an X-Wing, and I'm glad they did.
But they didn't bother to do anything with it. They just, Sigourney and X-Wing is cool, but they just sort of plow the whole place down.
They don't stand a chance. They don't stand a chance, the Hutts.
Yeah, they do like
all
the little droids
ships get
in
blown
the ships.
up.
And yeah, it's no problem. And that was like that feeling of like, and there was a little bit of that throughout. Like the opening sequence, what made me bored is that there's no, like compared to the opening of like Indiana Jones, right? Where you're like, he's struggling the whole time. People are betraying him. He's eating shit left and right in that temple. Whereas this is like, we're just watching the Mandalorian do great. Like he just does great. He just takes down these 3 fucking robots and walkers.
Yeah, the big snow walkers.
And I'm like, oh, okay, so he's unstoppable.
Like, you remember how like it was like a cool, thrilling, iconic scene that we all love and celebrate when Luke destroys one?
Yeah.
After like,
and they're like, well, he gets 3 and he doesn't even fucking bat an eyelash. And it's like, oh, okay.
I mean, it was cool, sure.
Yeah, it just makes a situation where, like, obviously, we know he's not going to die in the movie about, obviously, but it was like, can you at least try to
throw a little more curveballs?
Yeah.
It's too often. There's some, but it was too often. He's going here to do this thing, and he's done that thing. It's like,
he's the best guy in the room.
Like, the part of the fun of Indiana Jones is nothing goes right? Like, that's like storytelling, right? Like, you something different happens than what you expected to happen, and that's how a story develops.
Right. And they knew, like, okay, let's poison him for the third act. Let's give him something. Mm-hmm. But up until that, it was like, he just kicks ass.
Well, like
every situation.
They don't always do it. They throw some curveballs. It's just sometimes it feels a little too on the rails.
Yes, because I would argue it's like any problem he can't handle, the little baby's going to magic, because he's got Yoda powers. So it's like, it's just, they're so unstoppable, and it's so like straightforward as a plot that it's like then it's like, okay, what's left? And it's how fun is the movie? How visually interesting is it? And that's where we get into what's good about it, I think, is that like, the movie is gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks cool. There's some cool new critters in it. I liked all the little serpent men. I like the mermaid men.
Yep. And I love
the big poisonous snake.
Yeah, big poisonous snake. I like that they were like puppets and stop motion motherfuckers.
Yeah, the 2 stop motion robots. That was what I was excited about on Hypecast that I didn't spoil for you.
I didn't know about that.
Neither did I. So when I was like, wait, is that? There's no way. There's no fucking way that there's these 2 giant robots toward the end, and they're fucking stop motion, at least partially.
Oh yeah, it's so I looked it up and like I think Phil Tippett consulted, but I think he's pretty old and busy.
Yeah.
He's making Mad God 2 or whatever the fuck.
Oh yeah.
And
Mad
so
God the series.
yeah. But they did it's a great idea, which is like robots.
Yeah.
So let's make them stop motion because that looks robotic.
It looks maladroit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this movie was, there were a few parts where watching it, I was like, I don't think that little Yoda has been CGI. Like I'm sure
Not for a lot of it.
Yeah, when they're on a speeder and it's like everything is CGI
sure.
in
Yeah,
this shot.
Yeah.
But it was like, I think he's been to the point where they were doing things like he would eat a cookie and you're looking at the shot and you're like, he's not eating shit.
Right.
That's a
He's
puppet
just
shoving a cookie towards his mouth and going, nom, 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 nom.
Yeah, and then they're
I'm
playing
like,
a crunch noise.
Right, but it's like, little kids don't care. I don't care.
I don't care. I had that thought too. It's that scene specifically, and then later on when it's him and the little Babu freaks in the forest, and they're all little freaks too.
Where you're watching scenes where you're like, this is all just puppets.
Right.
We're just watching puppets.
And I had that thought. I was like, if this was CGI, they'd be doing like bug eye, goofy, like booger slapstick tricks or whatever, like going over the top to be. I don't like. I could just see
it would look
that.
Worse.
Right. It would look so much worse. But it's like as these little puppets, I'm connecting with them so much more. I care for them so deeply. I don't want any of those things to get hurt.
And that's
it makes a much more real connection to me than like I could easily like I pictured that scene with all of them CGI, and it's like immediately I care less about them.
And I would argue this is a big conversation about what Star Wars is. And I would argue that Jon Favreau, what he's saying here is true, is he's going, you know what Star Wars also is? Puppets and stop motion. And I agree. It's kind of like making a Muppet movie and replacing them with CGI.
Yeah.
You'd go like, well, it's Muppets. And I don't think George Lucas himself would agree with what I just said, because George Lucas, the moment he could, didn't do any of that shit.
Got rid of all them Muppets, yeah.
And I get why he did that, because he's like, I had like 4 people in that fucking Jabba outfit, and they were all complaining the whole time, and like it sucked to make. And the moment I could do it in a computer on a green screen in an air-conditioned room, I did it that way because I'm fucking 60 or whatever when he made those movies. Yeah. Like, I get it. I get why an older filmmaker, for example, is like switches to digital the moment they can, because film sucks. It's just that like Star Wars, I think one of the things that we kind of forgot about it is that it is kind of that. It is a Jim Henson movie.
You're right. That's really, really interesting. I've never thought of that before. But that is something that is intrinsically part of its DNA, as much as practical stunts are to Indiana Jones. Like, we need some of these puppets. We need some aliens that have like weird costume heads with silicone drool coming out, like and having that stuff in this, even though I understood like Rada the Hutt, he's totally a digital character, and that's fine. Like I totally. Right. But you have all the little Babu freaks. You have Baby Yoda. You have the little things that it makes sense for the little weird aliens to move kind of weirdly like a puppet. And like you say, they have the stop motion in the robots, so the maladroitness of it.
And it just looks gorgeous.
And the stop
motion looks
right.
Gorgeous.
It just looks cool, and I just like the artistry of it, and I like seeing the artistry of it. It's like the difference between shooting on location or having everybody in front of a green screen in The Hobbit. It's like people. But yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Oh no, I think people are slowly realizing this, because I think we've had this kind of era where when it came to film, the ends justified the means, and what I mean is that like we kind of forgot that like the reason we watch movies is to see kind of the art, even big blockbuster movies. It should be artists making things, and so like CGI artists are artists, don't get me wrong,
of course, yeah,
but I think there was this sort of like this feeling of like, why do we buy a painting, right, is like to see the work of an artist, someone who took a brush
rather than a photograph,
and they painted
you mean.
Yeah, and a photographer, you buy photography for another reason. But I was going to say rather than AI art. So AI, I think, has put like the thing about AI art is it's like the way we've been going. Why wouldn't AI art be a problem, right? Because no one gives a shit. That's the argument, right?
Yeah.
Is like we the moment we kept green screening in everything and doing CGI to do everything, even things that shouldn't be CGI. The moment that Snoke was a CGI man instead of just an old guy in makeup, then the next logical
Green
conclusion
Lantern's
is someone
costume.
going. Right, and the next logical conclusion to that line of thinking is, well, just make everything fucking
Right.
fake. Who gives a shit? And that's where like I hope people are realizing like, yeah, we've been going down this path for a while where it's like the way an art is created does mean something. Like it's not enough to say like I just want to see the Mandalorian blast a guy. It's like no, I want to see a human in a stuntman in an outfit that was created that's real do the thing. Like that's what we want to watch, human
Right,
effort.
and it's because you're trying to make an emotional connection, right? And the more we can self-insert, the more that connection is possible, and therefore the more realistic something looks, the more tactile something looks and feels, the easier we are to do that, and the more we connect with it. But I totally agree with what you're saying, and that's interesting that I heard the beginning of that and kind of went in a similar but different sort of philosophical direction where it's like it's the difference between like wanting a painting versus a photograph, where it's like, well, sometimes it's not what you're looking for. You're not looking for photorealism. It's like just because everything can be a photograph doesn't mean I want everything to be a photograph. I don't want Calvin and Hobbes to be a photograph.
Right.
Like
I like matte paintings. I would go even far back where it's like...
Yeah. Sometimes I want to see like, just because so much can be done digitally doesn't mean that we should do it all digitally. It's like all of these are crafts that we do not just because it was like the most photorealistic.
Right. One of the most, I think, for me, one of the most perfect examples is you watch the original Lord of the Rings, where you see what's the elf city, Rivendell, and they would do these like very like kind of hazy matte shots of Rivendell. And they were these gorgeous, I don't even know how they're done. They might have been done in a computer, but they looked like art. And it looked like, oh, they're in a painting. They're like walking through this beautiful painting. And then you watch The Hobbit, where they're like, we're at Rivendell. Let's do this like really ultra HD crisp. You can see like everything a mile away. Shots of Rivendell. And I was like, that looks hideous.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't, and it looks more photorealistic.
Yeah,
but that's not actually the point of this world. This world is a fantasy world. It's a dream.
This looks like this. Yeah, this looks like the park down the street. You've captured that, but like, I wanted to capture an elf city.
Yeah, and I wanted to feel like I'm in a certain environment that's art. You know, I want to be in art. And movies should be art. And this is Jon Favreau kind of dialing it back and going like, and the thing about Star Wars that I think more and more I personally realize, this is subjective. I said it in the other thing, is that I don't actually think Star Wars gives me much. What I mean is like, I don't get much from Star Wars by the plot. By the characters. I find a lot of the characters boring, like, and so realizing that like when you take all like, and this movie is a perfect example of that, which is that like everything we said about the plot gets kind of made up for by the fact that the world itself feels like artistic. It feels
cool
like
and lived in and explored.
Including the CGI, including that big fucking white penis that attacks him. And that thing looked so fucking good.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's because like, one, I'm sure they got to spend more time on the actual CG sequences because they got to do practical things for other parts, because they weren't like, we need to crank out 100 Grogu shots
Yeah.
You know, we
Plus all these
like, it felt like this-
stormtroopers who are also CGI.
Right, we got to celebrate CGI as also being art.
Yeah.
Because it was gorgeous as well.
Yeah. And having a cool new... I like the new Rancor pit.
Yeah.
I like the way... I like the tease of that, because you're expecting it, but it doesn't look like there's one there.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, maybe there isn't. I guess there could be. And then, of course, later... And he leaves and nothing happens, but when he comes back again, it opens up, and there's a pit down there, but it's way huger and different, and it's fun.
Snake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little mermaid people. It's like the pit at first from Army of Darkness, where it's just...
It is very similar.
Yeah. Just a big wet fart lagoon.
Yeah.
Like that was cool.
I noted
The creature
there are two
design was
arena
really
fights,
fun.
which is weird to me.
Yeah.
Because like that was the part of the flatness where I was
Yeah.
like, I liked the second one a lot, but I was like, so we're okay. Like they just keep throwing them in arenas to have them fight things. And listen, if I had my own Mandalorian, I'd do that to him a bunch too. I'd just keep pranking him with arena fights. But it was like
Surprise monster fights.
Yeah. I love that everybody sees him and they're like, I want to fight him against things. I want to see him fight things.
That's what we all think.
Yeah, it's
We
true.
all see the Mandalorian. We're like, I want to see that guy fight things.
Yeah.
He looks cool.
But yeah, like that is every time I realized this movie brought me back, it was with some interesting visual or artistic offer. Cyberpunk City and that music, where I'm like, oh, someone gave a shit. Like this is okay.
And
Like, someone's doing, they're
Scorsese.
doing a thing.
The Scorsese character, I think he's a much, much better version of the idea of Dex. I love Dex, but like, because he's a four-armed alien that's running a food cart in this cyberpunk city, and he's Martin Scorsese.
Diner.
Yeah, but and he learns about like this protection racket from these scummy gangsters through him. But like he felt like, I don't know, he felt like a more authentic character. I don't know.
I mean,
It just
he's
felt
definitely
a little bit more realistic. I don't know. It was just
he dropped down into 70s New York for this cyberpunk, but it was like we've said it, we keep saying it, which is that the one thing Star Wars seems unable to explore is their dense cities. Like they've done it a little bit, they've given us tastes, but it's weird how it always ends up in a swamp. We always end up in a goddamn swamp, and I'm like, I've seen the swamps. I was scared they were going to show like Yoda's hut in this because it felt like we were going in that direction with the swamp.
Yeah. I was just, there's something that really delighted me about them having a furry four-armed alien voiced by Martin Scorsese in a food truck who just makes a very realistic and delicious looking bean slice sandwich that looks like something I would have bought while we were working at Cracked, and has a kind of anxious conversation about a protection racket. Like everything about that just delighted me. Just the idea of like you said, he's not living in a swamp. He's not living in a hut. He's running a food truck, selling you a grilled sandwich with some delicious sandwich sauce on it, just trying to make ends meet.
It's one of the things I think actually Lucas forgot about Star Wars, which is that we like dank areas of the world. We like whenever the character has to go to some like scummy area, like the Mos Eisley like cantina, like where it's like, wait, I want, like that was one of people's favorite, and it's hard because you don't want to like try to replicate that a bunch.
And that's like a broader idea too. I totally agree, but that's a broader idea of what I'm talking about. I like that they're giving us just, hey, here's the idea of a quote unquote real person in Star Wars. Here's somebody who's
lived in area.
Yeah. Here's somebody who's never going to shoot anybody with a laser, but lives in like Coruscant or whatever. I don't know. It's just everything you said.
No, I once sat down with Cody and like rewrote the first of the new Star Wars. And the one thing I really wanted, I don't think, is this Coruscant in this?
No, I just keep using that as a touchstone because it looks similar to in the beginning of Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, but I thought
probably my favorite visual part of any of the prequels is getting to see all the Coruscant stuff in the first half of Episode 2.
What's funny is the cyberpunk element, correct me if I'm wrong, but was introduced in the prequels more than the originals. Like before if you just watch the originals, you wouldn't really think of Star Wars as a cyberpunk.
Well, there's the idea of lived in technology.
Yeah.
There's some of it. There's
But
it's definitely
really
cyberpunk adjacent, but yeah, this one really dips into it. Sorry.
It's like one of the things the prequels gave us that we can embrace. Like, is that it is kind of, it's also a cyberpunk. Like I think Andor has a little of that. It's just a cool detail.
Yeah.
To Star Wars, that's actually one of the later additions. Because like the original, it's like what, space and deserts and swamps, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Huts, a lot of huts.
Yeah.
In more than one way, huts.
Huts and huts. Did you? I liked the little pile of huts.
Yeah,
Just
what are they
fucking
doing?
and sucking. You know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's weird. It's
rolling
weird.
around
Weird
in their
family. Little worm
fucking
family.
suck hut.
Yeah, suck hut. Yeah, it's just, this has the problem of 90% of Star Wars for me, which is that ultimately, like, I didn't get much from the story or the characters. The arc is essentially, at the beginning, he's like, don't touch stuff on the ship. And then Grogu takes care of him when he's sick, and he goes, I'll teach you how to fly the ship. And that's pretty much it.
He allows him to grow up a little bit.
Right, which
didn't want him to, but allows him to.
Right, and I'm not against that. Like, for example, the Dredd movie, what is his arc? Fascism is great. At the end, I don't know, maybe. It's
fascism.
Yeah, it's like there's many movies where the arc of the character is very slight and they are, faceless, but you kind of need then like to give a huge offer in terms of the content, the actual like the action, the art. Again, the art. Fury Road, very little arc of Mad Max, doesn't need one. Who gives a shit? Yeah. And so this, it's like, for me, there was the puppets and stop motion was that thing where it's like, okay, you're not giving me anything for characters, but you're giving me some fun visuals.
Yeah, and the ship design, the Nal Hutta stuff, new alien world design, seeing new vistas in Star Wars. That's a big part of Star Wars for me. Is
right.
Doing the screen wipes to a new locale, and you're like, ooh, it's cool. It's still, I know it's like 10 years old at this point because they did it in Rogue One, but it's still cool to me to see like X-Wings parked next to a palm tree. That's a cool juxtaposition to me. So there, this has kind of all the stuff that I like about Star Wars in it. The cool artistry stuff, like the Muppets and the robots. I
guess to me,
this had enough of that, of everything that I liked about Star Wars in it, that is, it's just a light property in my mind anyway, so I don't really demand too much of a Star Wars arc, because it was always just these, the original one is just this big operatic story about the Luke defeating the Empire or whatever. So again, my only real hit against this movie for me was that it's paced so freaking weirdly.
Yeah, for me, it's like what made it good was like characters pacing. There wasn't anything to glom onto for the story. Mm-hmm. But for me personally, I also felt that the action itself, I didn't really have much. Like the action scenes, my eyes also glazed over, except for a few parts. But because he's basically just a god,
he's just like, oh yeah.
Like it's a lot of him just mowing people down, and a lot of the action scenes for me, like that's when like they ramped up the CGI, like that's why like the stop motion was like, oh, that's one of the times I'm like watching and giving a shit, because I'm like watching him interact with this like cool stop motion. I liked when he fights Hat Man.
The Hat Man, that's a cool fight.
The guy from Mortal Kombat, because he does the hat move.
He does, yeah.
I thought that was a gorgeous fight. Like there were some parts where it's like, it doesn't matter. I don't care that I know who wins and loses.
Yeah.
There's some fights. But like for the most part, that's why again, the end when they're just like, he 9/11's that hut place.
Their palace, he sure does.
Yeah, and then they 9/11 at times 1,000. And I was just like, why did we... It felt like they ran out of time. Like where it was just like they just come in and blow the fucking place up and they pick him up. And I was like, oh, all right. I was like, in my head, I was imagining like a sequence where he has to steal a ship and like thrilling getting out. And it was like, oh no, all his just fucking buddies show up.
You just called the police.
Yeah, he just called the police.
Which fine. Yeah, it's just because I was about to say one of the things that I enjoyed about all the fight sequences. They're very John Wick, not as well choreographed, but they lean heavily on Mando being really resourceful and having like a super deep gadget belt.
Yeah, there's cool moments.
Yeah,
for sure.
So seeing him whip out cool little tricks like that is always fun. But yeah, I do agree that sometimes it would get a little just like, oh, okay, like he's going to mow through a couple of these guys real quick. Like the time I noticed it the most was when he finds the one ship crashed in the swamp, which is, it's like he hands Rod of the Hutt off to this, it's a gun runner I know, he'll take you wherever you want to go. And it's just like this little penis head robot. I love it when those little robots are just people. Like little IG-88 in the first episode of Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, those little
I like it when they use the weird little droids as just like people you encounter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm this weird little robot. I run a deli. Also, I'm an assassin at night.
Yeah.
So anyway, he finds that dude's ship crashed in the swamp. And just walking from the cargo bay up to the cockpit, he's briefly attacked by 3 of the mermaid men, and he just kills them really quickly, and then just continues walking to the cockpit to get the information he was there for.
Why even add it? Why
was this there? Yeah.
Yeah, this movie's 2 hours and 15 minutes, and like I felt it in the arena fight, because the arena fight, like at one point he like, it was a cool conclusion. I liked, they break the barrier. I mean, he just throws a thing in the barrier, and I was like, bad barrier. Yeah. But like, there's that feeling I kept having because he uses his like grappling hook to get Grogu, and it was like, well, he could have just left. I don't know. Like, there's that like when he starts in the arena fight, it was just like, just leave. Can't you just leave? Like the walls are like, I don't know, 8 feet tall. You're a god. Like I've seen you do so many things. It was that feeling of like he never felt. There was never a moment where I was like, how is he going to get out of this? It was like, he's just going to fight all these things. And like, again, I'm glad they did the little added twist where it's like they all get out and they start fucking. But then,
it's like a circus getting loose in downtown.
Right. But then they only had one move, which they would just pick people up and throw them. And I was like, oh, come on, eat somebody. So like bite someone in half, do something really gnarly here. But it felt like they were like, they wanted kids to see the movie.
There's a lot of like flamethrowers and laser blasts and headbutts. I bet they had to trim down the eating.
Yeah.
Because we get 2 big eats at the end.
Yeah, big sluggins. Sluggins getting
big
gobbled
snake
up.
Eats those 2 big turds.
Yeah. Again, it all kind of, for me, just boiled down to like, good.
Yeah, this was totally
fine. I
fine.
liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little long, weird pacing, but overall, a lot of the stuff that I like about Star Wars in it.
Yeah, it's hard because I'd say there's movies out this weekend that I would perhaps recommend over this one.
I think so. It doesn't feel like super essential.
Yeah, this is a weird one to say where I'm like, because I saw it in IMAX and I'm like,
Yeah.
You can see it on streaming, frankly. It'll be out on streaming in a week.
I saw it in 3D.
Or whatever.
And it wasn't in IMAX, but I saw it on 3 on a great big screen, and it was like, it's, it's fine.
I'd rather see
3D.
Obsession on a big screen, weirdly, even though that's technically smaller. Like, that's a movie where I'm like, I want to see that in a dark room with good sound.
Yeah,
like
that benefits too. I mean, this benefits
more in my. I would argue, where I'm like,
I think so. Yeah, it definitely benefits more from it. This still is a cool experience, definitely to see in the theater. But doesn't feel super essential.
Get high first, take some mushrooms, and see it.
Yeah, kind of feels like a really good Star Wars video game. If that makes sense.
It definitely. Yes, I got video game vibes off of it. Where I kept going like the 2 arena fights. I was like, these feel like levels. Like I'd play this level. This would be fun.
Steve Bloom is even in it as his little alien friend. And Steve Bloom is a voice actor who is in many, many video games.
They should do Shadows of the Empire 2, The Mandalorian or something. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, I'd play that. Yeah, I assume there's a lot of cameos I didn't notice.
There may have
Scorsese
been.
again was hilarious because it took me a second. where he was in the credits.
He's in the
and
credits,
I was like, so
too,
Scorsese
yeah.
is in this enough to be in the credits. But I realized that nobody's really in this movie enough, meaning that like most of the characters, even in the credits, have like 10 minutes of screen time at the most.
Yeah, the second build is Jeremy Allen White, and he's Rod of the Hutt. And
Yeah.
he's not in the movie a lot.
Not really. So that's when I recalibrated and realized, like, oh, this is Scorsese. Got it.
Yeah.
I don't know why it took me a second. They gave him the fucking Scorsese eyebrows.
He just looks like a little four-armed Scorsese monkey.
Yeah, I think my brain like didn't want to register what it was seeing at first.
It was rejecting it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
too many arms.
No. This little fucking CG monkey can't be Scorsese.
Grogu, eat him.
Of course it was. Of course it was. I got nothing else.
I don't have anything else. Grogu's adorable.
Yeah. I like those little dildos more, though. Those little
Babu
fluffy
freaks.
dildos, yeah.
Yeah, I love them.
I like
I love
those.
them.
They
There's
were
just
great.
something about making a little puppet and giving him a little freak voice.
Give it a little dumb voice.
Yeah.
We're gonna get these from Endo.
I'm like, I would die for these creatures.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I love them. I love Baby Yoda.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, folks.
Thank you.
Listen here. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/gamefully unemployed. We have exclusive podcasts on there like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, Spiel Boys, Himboos. That's a supernatural
Indeed.
podcast. We watch movies every Friday night with our patrons as well. Good movies, bad movies, medium movies.
This movie, we'll
Movies.
probably watch this movie at some
Yeah,
point.
why not?
We've watched a
Kind
Star
of long,
Wars.
but yeah.
We've watched them Star Wars before.
I feel like we've watched the prequels.
We've watched the
mostly.
prequels, I think, which are all over 2 hours long. We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com. You can find a link to our Teespring store. We have all kinds of cool original artwork by cool original artists like Michael Vincent Bramley, Starlene Hodge, Justin Brown, and others. So check that out. Please rate and review our podcasts wherever you're listening, and check out our other show, Badical, Badical, also wherever you are listening. It's a Mortal Kombat
Yes.
spoof. We do improv,
Mortal Kombat. You love
and we
it.
fight.
We fight?
It's just 42 minutes of meat sounds. It's just
Yeah.
just like
I can't hear that.
okay.
But
Just-
like, imagine someone like, it's like jerking off
Yeah.
sounds, but like fighting. Mm-hmm. Like slapping a ham.
Yeah, just a lot of kicks and punches, but on giant sides of beef. So meat sounds.
Meat sounds.
Mm-hmm.
We should call it meat sounds.
Should have called it meat sounds. That was what the Beach Boys were going to call pet sounds.
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing.
But yeah,
Yeah.
their manager suggested the title change to sell more records.
Those bastards. Hey, listen, our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can find him on twitter.com as the Corlew, or go to shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our channel artwork is produced by Michael Vincent Bramley. For more of his work, go to mvbramley.art. Our episode artwork is by Justin Brown, available on Twitter as Justin T. Brown or at Artness by JustinBrown.com. And finally, additional artwork is by Starlene Hodge. You can find her work at StarleneArts.com or on Twitter as StarleneX. Cool. Goodbye.